Alright, what's up everybody? We're back. We're back on the journey to 2200 or whatever we get up to. I'm ready to jump into some games and wish me luck. I need it. Last time wasn't so good, so this time we're going to get back on track. How do this play? Let's do it. I think we got his knight in the middle of doo-doo land. Yeah, the only place he can go is at that corner. The golden square is off limits to him. That's a small win to start the game. We win. I don't know what this guy's doing, but I feel like it must be good for me. I want to get this guy here, but I feel like I should wait until he pushes this, because this guy loves pushing pawns. We got his king out. What do I do? What do I do? I'm going to try and make something over here and then get my bishop here and maybe my queen in the game. Yeah, that's his good bishop for my bad bishop. That seems fine. That bishop was terrible anyway. I really think I should win this game. If I lose, it's going to be embarrassing. So, what can I do with this knight? Well, yeah, let's get this knight in the game. Okay. Alright, we have time. Let's think. I think I really don't want this bishop gone. I definitely messed up somewhere, but I'll figure it out. I think I'm still okay. This is very stressful. I don't know where it went so wrong. But I don't know if he's doing great either. He's definitely doing better than me, but I feel like he doesn't have enough to checkmate me yet. Raven's definitely got something to say about this game, but we might even get him on time. I'm going to focus on trying to play fast, which usually ends in disaster, but I'm going to play fast and not blunder my important pieces. I feel like that was good for me. I think that was a big mistake by him. He had me in a bind, and he just let me out for free. Yes! Sorry to not accept your friend request, but I don't know you, but that was quite the win. I was definitely in a bind for a lot of the game. I'm not going to analyze it because Raven's going to do that with me later, but I'm almost positive that guy could have completely wrecked me if he didn't just trade everything off for no reason. But we got the mate, so it doesn't matter. New 10 minutes, let's go. Boom, boom. Dedicate this game to France. I think I have to get this guy out before I push this up with this. Or otherwise the knight's just out of the game forever. We'll see what Raven says about that. But I think that's, like, not bad. Even though I'm moving the knight 2 times. I did trade my bad bishop for his good bishop. But now I guess he's offering me the same trade. This guy just hates bishops. He's an anti-papist. I feel like this guy is trying a bunch of stuff without having the moves to back it up. I think we got some free money, baby. We're taking this guy to the bank. Yeah, ARP3, baby. And we got a nice open file. I feel good. This isn't exactly the treehouse Raven talks about, but it's kind of the treehouse. Now we're gonna gobble up those pawns. Rope 3, we're about to be up 4. Welcome to the real world. E key 11. Threatening nothing, threatening nothing. This guy's in trouble. This guy is in big trouble. Yeah, that don't work. We're eating. We eating good tonight, boys. Okay. Okay, thanks. Thank you for the gift. You must be a fan of the show. We appreciate your gift. Nice check. Nice rook. Two for two. 2 for 2. Let's go, baby. Let's go. New 10 minutes. We're not reviewing. We're not reviewing. We don't got time for that. Nobody got time for that. Oh, Lord, it's a 2 for 2. What in the world is this guy doing? Some kind of weird bird variant. I know it's a weird move, but I feel like the only reason he would push this is to push this. And if I don't let him do that, then he just blocked off his knight for no reason. So that has to be good for me, I think. This looks like a nice spot for my knight. He can't fight me because he blocked his knight off for some reason. That's okay. That was a bad move. I forgot the bishop was also defending this pawn. I wanted to attack the pawn, but yeah, that was bad. Oh, well, you live and you learn. Hopefully I can just undo. You know, he doesn't get too aggressive and lets me do what I want to do. Where can I put this knight? Oh, Kevin, you fool. You foolish fool. Dang it. Yeah, this is a blunderfest. He's only up 1, though, so we're still in it. We just need to play solid. We can get a draw or whatever. Okay, that was bad. We're losing it, folks. We're losing our dang minds over here. I think he should be able to win, but let's see if he can. Ugh. Alright, we couldn't do it. Raven's gonna have some thoughts on this one. One more. We're still 2-1, so we're doing good. This guy gained 89 points for the win. Who knows? He's on the roll. We lost this series, now we're up against Bangladesh. Let's go. I don't feel like this is too bad for me. Dang it. I really thought I was doing okay, and then it suddenly collapsed. He could have just gotten my rook. I don't know why he did that. So, that is a little bit of a help. And that was knight's trapped. Actually, that was a big blunder. We're going to lose on time, but we're going to see how good we can do. This game is a mess. If I definitely had more time, I'd be fine, but I don't know if I could win a game in 30 seconds. I literally don't know if I have the capability to do that in any circumstance at this point. And I should have lost anyway, so I'm not going to cry about this one too much. Yeah, I deserve to do that one. 2 mistakes, 7 blunders, 2 misses. I could have won on, I think I ended up in a position where I should draw, but it was not a good showing. I think I ended up like 3 points. I'm letting the team down. We'll have to go over the games. Thanks for your patience. We're getting a little better, but we're going to have to crawl our way up to these ratings. We're not running. We're not sprinting. We're crawling. But we'll talk to Raven. We'll see how it goes. And I'll see you guys next time. Or actually, I'll see you in two seconds, but then I'll see you next time.
Disappointed!
Okay, so we're here. This is what, week number 5?
I believe so.
Yeah. You're making gains. You got 5 points
I
this
did
week.
get 5 points.
Nice. Okay, e4, knight f6. So you were playing C Ramirez. Do you know what flag this is?
Peru.
Oh.
I didn't know that anyway. I check everyone's flag when I play the game.
Nice.
I need to know what country I'm battling.
Yeah. Yeah, you're battling for the pride of Paraguay.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so e4, knight f6. This is the Alekhine defense. You're just supposed to invade.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you want to kick him around. Yeah, you could definitely play d4 here. Honestly, I sort of hate this defense that they play, this Alekhine's defense, because it's just, it gets them to a worse position, but even so, you need to remember a lot of theory to get an advantage, so it's just annoying.
That makes it a good line at this level where people aren't remembering anything.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So d5, e5, he made a mistake here with knight g4. He's supposed to play d4 and just counterattack your knight.
That seems like it would be very annoying.
Yeah. So knight g4, d4, okay, perfect. You got the nice pawns. This is like the tree, but just inverted slightly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got him. c6, h3, knight h6. You got to put this knight in jail next time. How can you put him in jail?
Isn't he kind of in jail now?
Almost. Well, he's going to come out.
Then, yeah, g5.
Nice. Yeah.
g4.
Exactly. Good. Yeah, you're getting the hang of this. I mean, okay, honestly, this isn't the end of the world to allow this because you can kick him out still. And he would probably have to go back. But it's ideal just... I tell all my students this, just put it in jail immediately.
Yeah, it makes sense.
You never have to worry about it. It's extremely uncomfortable for them to play this. So knight f3, f6. I think this is a better way to do these lessons when I don't know who's winning or losing.
Yeah.
It leaves a lot of mystery. There's an air of mystery about it.
I don't remember which games I won and lost either, so I'm also...
Nice.
Looking at the scores, I'm thinking I lost this one, but we'll see. Like the elo, if I remember the trajectory.
Okay, yeah, we'll see. So castles e6. Your position is fantastic here. Right now, though, so who's better developed here?
Me.
Yeah, by a really large margin, right? You're castled. I count castling as 2 in the whole grand scheme of things. So you have 2, 1, 1, 1. So that's all 5. They only have 1, if you can even call it that.
Yeah.
So 5 to 1. If you're more developed, what should you be doing then?
Moving my pawns.
You should be opening up the game.
Yeah.
Right? Because at the moment, if both sides are behind close quarters in their own little zones, it's not going to matter that you're more developed.
Yeah, it makes sense. So take.
Yeah, exactly. Take, and if they take with the queen, you can get snack, and you can play bishop g5 with the tempo, queen f7. I would assume you're already like +5 here or something. Yeah.
Dang.
Augustus Gloop is going up the vanilla slide this time.
That went up a lot.
Yeah. Oh, only +2. Okay, but that should...
That's still a lot.
Yeah. Just the whole idea is that when you're... There comes like a breaking point when you're so much more developed than the opponent that they're never... You should be able to just start... If you're playing precisely, you should be able to start generating threats to the point where they'll never be able to catch up in development. And this is that. This is like, if you have 5 to 1, even like 5 to 2, 5 to 3, it should still be good. You understand how we calculated the ratio, right?
Just counting the number of developed pieces?
Yeah, and count castling as 2.
Yeah.
Because that means your king is going to be safe. It's not scientific at all. It's just something I made up as I've been teaching students, and it tends to work. Just count castling as 2, count everything else as 1, and if that ratio, if you're up more than 2 in that ratio, it should be extremely good. Even if you're only up 1, it should be decent to open the position.
Yeah.
So now you know. So rookie 1, F5, yeah, and he's keeping everything closed, right? If he keeps everything closed, it's not going to be that easily felt to use these pieces. So, okay, well, how do you play Knight G5? Knight G5 makes a lot of sense. Knight F7, you traded. So, okay, in this position now, what? What should you do here? I don't want to give you any hints. Go for it, Kevin. You can do it.
I'm thinking. Let me think.
We need Rob Schneider on the soundboard, I'm realizing.
He is good. We need Rob Schneider on the show. I really don't know.
Well, you're way ahead in development, right?
So I want to open it up.
Yeah.
So, but I'm hesitant to push the G pawn because then my king's out in the middle of nowhere.
And how many pieces are looking at this zone of theirs?
0.
Yeah, maybe technically you could count the queen slightly, but not really. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you would be taking on no risk with this, and you would be threatening to open things up for you.
Yeah, it makes some sense. That makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I was just being too conservative with, like, afraid for my king.
Yeah. I mean, that's like a normal, what would that be called? Like a normal phobia that pretty much all players have starting out. They don't want to weaken their king, but if there are no pieces around to mate you, then just do the math. Like, there's nothing to be concerned about. And the idea here is you're going to take, and depending on which way they take back, like if they take this way, then they're opening up this, and your queen can immediately swing in for some action.
Yeah.
I think that would actually just be mating, so they should take this way. But even then,
just push the pawn and then.
Yeah, the game is starting to open. You could definitely push the pawn here because they take you're sacrificing a pawn, but now you have a completely open lane.
Yeah.
And this is going to start getting really uncomfortable for them. Maybe they're still able to survive this, but this is like more than just this exact position. I just want you to understand this, that if you don't open the game when you're more developed, you're squandering your advantage.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. Because
Yeah.
I didn't know I was better, and then I didn't really. Once I let him get that solid defense, I really.
Yeah.
I knew I was better, but I was like lost.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Lost in
the sauce.
Yeah. Exactly. No, I mean, so the thing is first of all here, like, you sort of dug yourself into this hole. If you just take here, this would have been way simpler.
Yeah, I could see that.
Not only that, this is, I did want to say this as well. This gets to what's known as a fantastic French structure.
Yeah.
Because what's happened here? This pawn is weak. Why is this weak pawn so relevant here? Like, why is this
because
weak?
it's guarding the king?
No. Like, what's special about this file?
There's no pawns to defend it?
Sort of, but I mean, we could say the same thing about these pawns. There's a big difference.
And it's pushed.
Okay, slightly. That's not the big issue, though. Being pushed actually should make it more defensible because there's more area behind it to always watch it.
That makes sense. Just give me the answer. I don't know.
It's an open file.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. It skewers the king on the open file. I mean, that's what I was thinking.
I thought you were just saying the king. It has nothing to do with the king. It has the fact to do with your rook is open.
Yeah. No, you're right. But
Is
I was
that what you
thinking
were answering?
I was thinking of the big picture, but yeah, I was aware that it was the open file.
Nice. No, the king could be anywhere. It has to do just with the fact that the rook is open on it.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Nice. Yeah, so this is a weak pawn, and you have a fantastic square for your knight as well.
Yep.
So just in general, pretty much whenever you have this advanced pawn pushed, I would assume it's going to be mostly when they've played like this French structure with these pawns here. If you can take here and they can't take back with G, it's fantastic for you.
Yeah.
It's a great deal. You should pretty much always do it. If they can take back with G, then it's a bit more complicated because, like, imagine this pawn is here. Then, conceivably, at some point, they might be able to push E5 and get a nice center.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm realizing now that, yeah, the rules are starting to layer on top of each other, right? Because technically this is central pawn for a wing pawn.
Mm-hmm.
But even so, you know, it's all about the priorities. You're creating so many weaknesses here that supersedes
Yeah.
breaking that other rule. Chess is a game of rules and nuances. Okay, so rook e1, f5, takes, g3, h5, h4. Yeah, you should still be doing fantastic here. So the question is, honestly, I'm really happy with what I'm seeing. They have these weak squares here. Now you can't really push because they have the pincer, those crab...
The famous crabs, yeah, the crab legs.
Yeah. Yeah, they have the crab legs on g4. Exactly, so you just started rerouting your knight. Your knight should eventually go here. And so I'm really happy to see Well, it seems like you got your knight here to h3, but then you moved it back. So, I guess we'll see what happens. g5. What is he doing? This is not the way to play. He should not be opening the game. He's less developed.
Yeah.
Knight f4, h4, knight h3, very good. Okay, actually, he's less developed, but the game is so close, this is very hard to play. You should think about ways to bring your rook into the game. I would say rook e3 to take here. This is not that simple, though, honestly. Like, you should probably be winning if we turn on the computer, just because long term here, this is positionally disastrous. They have a light-squared bishop here with all these pawns, and they've opened up and weakened all of these other squares. I'm going to color them gold because, or I guess blue. I never figure out this keyboard. But yeah, you have these blue squares for your knight. I would assume if we turn on the evaluation, it would say it's like, what? Alright, something's obviously wrong with the computer. I'm sure there's something that the computer is saying that, like, we're not. But there must be, the only reason the computer would say that is if there's some immediate tactic here. Like, if we go a move back, I'm sure it's going to say much better. Yeah, okay, there we go. That's more normal. There's just some tactic after rook e3 that we're not able to see. Anyway, so knight f4. Knight f4 is risky business, though. He's going to take here. What was up with that? You gotta watch out.
Yeah.
You better not cry.
Yeah, I don't remember what the reasoning was.
I mean, worst comes to worst, you could even just push. And the idea here is that after takes, you're getting your bishop much better. Your knight will come back, and if you get them to put a pawn in front of your king is relatively safe.
Yeah.
Like, if they play g3 here... Oh, actually,
That's, like, terrible, right?
You could just play queen f3. You're actually... I would assume you're winning here. It looks scary, but at the end of the day, pawns are almost useless in terms of their attacking potential.
Yeah.
Right, like, I think the only way to get your king checkmated by pawns is, like, there would need to be 4 of them.
But if he takes my pawn in that position, then it's a... Yeah.
Your king is safe here, and you're about to start attacking him. I would assume you're winning here. Because also, keep in mind, right, he is going to pay the piper sooner or later for this. Your rooks are going to swing in. It's about who has more access to the zone. It's not about whether or not your king has no pawns in the zone. It's whether or not you have more pieces in that zone. I would assume this is completely winning for you. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
That vanilla...
It swung back up.
That vanilla pipe.
I think I remember what happens in this game. He panics, and he has me like in a chokehold, and then he panics and loses.
He had a win here. He had rook h1. Do you see that? Takes, and then he goes for the sacrifice. He gets you in the cabbage patch.
Dang. Yeah, I didn't see that exactly, but I really thought he was about to checkmate me, but then he throws it all away.
King f1. King f1's a good move. You're thinking on your feet. You gotta come up with something here.
Get me the hell out of here.
It's losing. Rook h2. Man, it looks like clouds are circling. If you won this game, knight g2, very good. Masterful defense.
Thank you.
You are still completely lost, obviously, but you gotta, at this point, you just gotta dig in and really hope. And I mean, you're playing in 1,000 at the end of the day. Anything can happen.
I really think that this is the game I think it is. The guy fumbles the ball.
Yeah, he's completely winning. If he just checks here, you have to block the queen, and he can start picking up pieces.
Yeah, I was aware of that. Like I said, I was ready to lose. I'm pretty sure if this is the game I think it is, he fumbles.
Nice. Rook c... Oh, man, this is such a tough position, though. You can't even fix it. There's nothing you can do here.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking maybe I could push that pawn and get the rook onto the 2-second file. Yeah, no, like, just play the game like he's gonna... he's just gonna trade it all off for, like, even, and then I just win.
Nice. No, I mean, I'm not blaming you, by the way, but this is just such an uncomfortable position. Like, you see that he's missing this threat, but you still can't do anything about it. You have to just sit there and hope that he just continues to miss it.
Which he does. I'm fairly certain.
b3, c4? Okay. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That's... Oh.
That rocked.
Yeah.
That was a great feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, this is, Ella, if I was speaking him to in Spanish, I would say, oh, ¿qué pasa? Because this is terrible. Oh, this is so sad. Yeah, if he just checked, he would have been able to pick up a piece and...
Yeah, I know. I knew at the time, too.
I'm happy, though, I'm happy you dug in and you did not click that resign button. Like,
never.
So, yeah, never click the resign button. So takes... And yeah, now your rooks are first to the party. This is going to be the end of the game completely. You played there? Fantastic. Masterful technique.
Oh, yeah.
Impeccable technique. Literally, just bring your rooks there. You got this bishop and this pawn already in the party. It's going to be checkmate very soon. Fantastic. Masterful.
We got him. That was a nail biter.
No, that was a great game. I'm really proud of you for that one. So e4, e6, d4, d5. I wanted to talk with you about the French defense, but we'll do it a bit later. But I think maybe... Are you enjoying these positions, or do you just like that you know what to do?
I just kind of like... I'm open to other stuff. I mean, I don't... I'm open to other things.
Like, do you like the closed nature of it, or do you...
It's hard for me to even say because I'm so used to it. But because I haven't played chess in a few years, but when I did, that's the only thing I ever like looked up what to do.
Yeah.
So this is the only one that I'm comfortable playing. Like, I've never looked into any other opening.
Is it more due to familiarity, or when you watch... Okay, I guess a good question is when you watch GM games of them playing other systems, assuming you knew how to play those systems, would you find those systems more fun or less fun than this?
I think it's definitely possible. I haven't thought about it in those terms as much, but I think it's I'm not married to the French in the terms of like, I love it so much I need to master this. I'm open to other things.
That's good. Yeah, we'll talk about that more at the end then, because that's exciting, honestly, to think about, because it's the French is not that good a system, and I don't mean you don't need to be playing things that you'd be able to defend against Magnus. That's not my point, but you want to play systems that are fun, first of all, and that teach you a lot about chess.
Yeah.
And the French is like relatively simple, but
it's like narrow in terms of the positions it leads to.
Yeah, I mean, for our goal of 2200, it's fine to you could play the French and get up even to like 2800. That wouldn't be an issue, but it's. I mean, I could. Probably you couldn't.
Yeah.
2800.
Someone could.
Well, wait. We'll put that on the back burner.
Someone could.
Kevin's But yeah, but in general, you want to play systems that teach you a lot about the game and that have a larger amount of flexibility.
Yeah.
Okay, knight e7's a good move. You're playing knight f5. You are supposed to play c5 though here immediately because they're gaining an enormous amount of central squares here.
This is something I thought I remembered from when I looked into this. Like, if I do that, though, then I could never get the knight out, because the second I block the bishop with the knight to move it to f5, then they just take.
So there are two approaches here. First of all, you could use this square to get there. Another thing you could do is, normally the way you play it is you just immediately put a lot of pressure on this pawn. Like, they're supposed to play c3 here, you play knight c6. And the whole idea is you want to get them to make a breach in their structure. You want to be able to take and have them not be able to take with the pawn.
Yeah.
Because if they can't take with the pawn, then this guy is going to become weak. So this is normally the way to handle this. But I mean, anyway, like, we don't really need to be talking about the opening, especially if it looks like we're going to be switching you off of the French. So e5, knight e7. Yeah, in general, though, this is a good middle game plan. Like, it's definitely a sound idea for you to be playing this. Okay, h6. This is fine. Takes, knight c3. c5 is a little risky, buddy. Whenever you play c5, you are weakening this diagonal tremendously.
Yeah.
In this position, I think it should be fine, but just in general, as a good rule of thumb, your first instinct whenever you push a pawn to c5 should be, do they have anything to do on b5?
Makes sense.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Your knight is really saving the day here, otherwise knight b5 to d6 would be really annoying. c5 is fine, though, here. Bishop b5, bishop d7, takes, knight b5. Yeah, you got nothing to worry about here. Okay, I guess you're afraid of this fork, and for good reason, but you could just castle.
Yeah.
To deal with it. Knight b6 is considered a little inaccurate. Your knight wants to be hitting these two squares. So you played knight b6, queen a5, castle's good. Takes. Alright, this position is fantastic. a6, b4. Nice, you're snacking. You got a piece? So right here, you notice there's a break in the structure, right? So you should always try to dig your pieces into the break.
So a3?
Yeah, just put your rook on a3. Right, and then you're attacking this. I mean, yeah, that's the nice thing about this as well. I didn't even realize that. I would have recommended this move anyway, just to dig in and divide those pawns in half, just like that Carlsen-Kramnik game.
Yeah.
You remember that? You want to dig them in half, and then slowly get rid of one of them, and then you can get rid of the other one, right? If you let them connect, then there's still going to be some weaknesses. You're still going to have plenty to play on, but just as a rule of thumb, this should always be the first move you look at.
Yep.
I think you chose a great move in the game, though. You're attacking this pawn, so your move also works. Knight d4, you took. Taking is good, but this is probably even better because you have this threat.
That makes sense.
You're going to fork them, right? And their knight is hanging here. They could take, but then you fork them, and you immediately start picking up some material. And in the end, they got a knight, but you got a rook. So
That's a good trade.
yeah, it's a good deal on Wall Street.
Yeah.
Rook takes. I'm thinking about, what was that line in Kung Pao? Thanks for the nuts.
That's a lot of nuts.
That's $4.
$4, baby. You want fries with that?
Nice. Rook takes, knight d3. Yeah, I'm gonna be very disappointed if it turns out you lost this game.
No, I'm pretty sure I didn't.
Yeah, you're really dominating him. As a general rule of thumb, keep your knights in the center, right? They're hitting 8 squares here.
Mm-hmm.
You're hitting a much larger expanse of yeah, look at this. You're hitting so many squares.
I mean, I could have just taken his rook right there.
Yeah. Yeah, with knight d4 and knight e2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even see, like, how is this rook going to get out? If he plays rook d3, you do this. Look at this. He could take the knight only if he gets bamboozled here by the
Yeah.
other one. That's a lot of nuts.
That's a lot of nuts. $4, baby.
Knight d6. All right, yeah, this is fantastic. This was a clean game. In Russia, they call this good technique.
Nice.
Did you know that it's a really like famous expression now? It's almost become memed that when you're reading like a Russian chess book, I mean, I don't speak Russian, but they've been translated into English. Like the author will get to a position which is so obviously bad for one side and so obviously good for the other that they'll just say the rest is a matter of technique. And pretty much what they're saying is that if you don't screw this up, you're gonna win.
Yeah.
So okay, you took here. You should be like a shark with blood in the water. You're playing with 3 pieces against a king.
Mm-hmm.
A good rule of thumb is that if the 3 pieces add up to more than 10 or more than 9, meaning any one of them is more than a minor piece. You can have 2 minor pieces and a rook, 2 minor pieces and a queen, 2 rooks. Just any, so long as one of them is not a minor piece, you're gonna be you should have mating chances here. So you should be like a shark smelling blood in the water here. You could have ended the game literally immediately.
Yeah.
Rather than playing another 35 minutes. Yeah.
It makes sense.
So find it. Just look for the piece that's doing the least around their king.
The rook, I guess?
No, the rook is covering these 3 squares, and this knight is covering these 2.
Alright, so then the knight on H.
Yeah.
So, F5 and then E3?
Yeah, this is game over, and their rook is just nowhere to be seen here. You're
Yeah.
threatening these 2 mates. This would be the end of the game. Yeah, so just in general, like, if their other pieces were around their king, then this wouldn't be as simple, but if there are no pieces around the king, you should be like a shark and just look for the tricks. Alright, this is... Yeah, don't let the king off. I think you wanted to just, you wanted to count all the candies with this pawn here, but you should have mate here somewhere. If you just keep their king locked out, like even here there should be a lot of checkmates. Like here... Okay, actually this isn't that simple, but knight f5, you're attacking the rook, and the idea is rook f3, you're bringing your knight in. Or you can even just check, and the idea is now your knight can finally get to this great square. King c1 here, and you're making a queen. I mean, my whole point here is that if you just think a bit in a position like this, you should be able to find a really, really simple forced win.
Yeah. No, like the one we found with the knight ending up on, I think, E3, that was so obvious once I took a minute to think about it.
Yeah. I think the way you played this was fine, but only if you had less time. If you had less time and you just had nothing else to, like, you clearly didn't have time to invest and you just wanted to make good, simple moves, which will suffice in this situation, to be clear, then this is fine. But you have four minutes. You could spend a minute or two just finding one of these really simple wins.
Yeah.
And then just end it.
Yeah, definitely.
So check here. Okay, d2, you're making a queen, so everything's good, but you could also reinforce the knight with g5. Just always try to dig your knights, reinforce your knights with concrete. I'm a big concrete guy, as you can tell.
Yeah.
Alright, you made the queen. There should be mate in 1 here. Yeah, upon further inspection, there is a mate in 1 here.
Yeah.
So you could have mated in 1. Again, this is a situation, you have a queen. Just maybe take a moment to think. You have already... What is a sign that there should be a mate in 1 here? Already 7 of the squares, or 8 of the squares around their king are covered. That's a sign there has to be a mate in 1.
Queen to d7.
Yeah, queen d7 or queen d5.
Yeah.
Both of them would work. Alright. Maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
Alright, you checked. You had mate in 1, sir. This is a classic idea. If you were covering these with some other piece, then just put the queen here. Right?
Yeah.
You're covering everything. I mean, at the same time, though, like, you're in a position where you're so obviously winning. There are 2 strategies here. It'll just take a bit more time and look for the clean win, or just to play these simple moves that suffice quickly. And
I mean, that's what I always do, but I should be looking for checkmates, because there are situations where I'm going to lose games because I don't look for mates enough.
Yeah.
But that situation will happen a certain percentage of the time.
Yeah. Also, in general, just if you want to make checks with your queen, put your queen just closer to the king. Because then you're just going to be covering a lot more squares in their immediate vicinity. Like here with your queen on this square, you're doing essentially the same thing as a rook.
Yeah.
Right? But you have a queen. So just bring the queen closer. Something like this, and there should be some immediate mate here. I think if they go here, we put another queen closer, and this is obviously checkmate. So here takes... Okay, you went for the rook roller.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice, so 2 wins to start off.
It goes downhill.
That makes it obvious what these last 2 results were.
Yeah.
Because you told me you went 2 and 2.
This is the game that's I don't think is a complete disaster, so this one won't be too embarrassing.
Yeah.
The next one's bad.
All right, yeah, I mean, we'll look at everything. By the way, so I was thinking, you know, like, we're doing this whole bird course. I'm not going to force you to play the bird as white, but I would prefer if I could teach you the drib.
I'm not to learn the drip.
The drib, I mean, okay, the drib is interesting because the thing is this is one of the worst things to teach a complete beginner.
Yeah.
Why? Because it doesn't develop any piece. It's like you're breaking all the rules of development with the drib. But the difference is that, like, literally, I would assume no one at your level has seen this move before.
I certainly haven't.
Which is
besides all the videos I edited for you.
Which is a sign you're going to have tremendous, like, surprise value. And the idea is for them to, like, pose this system actual problems, they will have need to learn something against it.
Yeah.
And if they don't know anything against it, it's just going to turn into... The whole idea is that the system is fantastic if they don't know what to do against it. Because you're getting a King's Indian. Like, so this is the King's Indian defense. And the whole idea with this system, you're going to see... It's going to slowly turn into the drib. The whole idea with this system is that here you want to move your knight out of the way, push, and then bring your knight back.
Yeah.
And the idea of the drib is that if your opponent doesn't know what they're doing, you're going to get that same type of system with only putting your knight here after one move, rather than after, like, moving it there, then moving it back, and then... So, yeah. So I think this is going to work fantastically for you. There are definitely going to be some GM coaches out there who watch this video and are going to disagree with me on teaching a relative beginner the drib, but I think you're at the point where, like, you know how the pieces move, you're able to play, like, logical strategies. I think it's going to serve you well. You're going to be a champion of the drib.
I'm down.
So F4, D5, knight F3, C5, takes. What do you think about this position?
It's confusing. It doesn't seem bad for me. He's a little better developed, but his systems were, like... This gets in when we were talking about the Sicilian. When it has this weird pawn in the middle, I'm so used to thinking of, like, in terms of the center. I get a little flustered. I'm like,
Yeah.
what to do?
Well, it looks like he has a bird going on, right? What do you think about that? Is this a good bird or a bad bird?
It doesn't strike me as particularly bad. It's not. Nothing seems to be getting attacked immediately.
This is a terrible bird, sir. There's no D-pawn.
Yeah.
You're never going to catch me in a bird without a D-pawn. Look at this. There's so many weak squares here. This is already probably close to loss for white. Ooh. Augustus Gloop.
Dang.
Yeah. Do you understand why? Because there's nothing to cover these squares. You could even just put your queen here and already there would be huge issues.
That makes a lot of
They
sense.
need to be able to play E3. I'll say it for everyone at home. The bird without the D-pawn is a terrible bird. It's like a kiwi. It can't fly at all.
Yeah.
It's just waiting for another natural predator to arrive on... They're from New Zealand, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand how they were able to survive. Like, how did evolution or anything work like that?
There were no... Well, this is not related to the video, but there were no mammals or other kinds of... There were only birds on New Zealand before white people came.
Yeah, that makes no sense to me how a bird like that could survive.
So it's filling the niche of other mammals because there's no mammals to fill the niche and compete with it.
That's crazy. That's a fun fact.
Yeah.
So A5, okay, yeah. So the thing here is you should just be looking to abuse these squares extremely quickly. Put a knight here and put a queen here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy, I would be berating this guy for doing a disservice to the bird. Yeah, like, when you see me play the bird, you're going to see me do this, and knight f3 and e3, and I'm very careful about moving this pawn. For this exact reason, the whole idea is it's defending this, and if it really needs to, it can also defend this with d3. Here we don't have that at all. The d-pawn is gone. So a5, e3. a5 is a logical move. You're stopping b4 ideas, but there's nothing really to concern yourself with, right? This is an open file.
Yeah.
So you should be welcoming him pushing any adjacent pawns, right? If the adjacent pawns are what are going to be defending this file.
That makes sense. I was just thinking, like, the only reason he would push that is to push b4 or b5, yeah, b4. And, like, if I stop him from doing that, he just locked his knight away for nothing. So it's kind of like I got a free. But I get what you're saying. Is
That's
better.
true, but at the same time, it's a bad plan.
Yeah.
Don't stop your opponent from making a move that's like that hurts his position.
Yeah.
Especially like maybe at Grandmaster level and like IM level, you're gonna know that your opponent is gonna know better. But if he's obviously going for a bad plan, just leave the door open for him.
Yeah.
Let him go through with it. Yeah. Just remember, really, I think this is the most important rule from today's lesson. Just if you have an open file pointed at a pawn, really relish and welcome him to push the pawns on the adjacent files, because he's just creating huge weaknesses. So a5, e3, knight f6, bishop b5. Okay, this is all good. Yeah, this is a disaster. Maybe we should turn off the bar, honestly. The bar is going to be distracting, but it's... Yeah, as you could see, though, you were completely winning here. You have fantastic squares. Knight g4, you really wanted that money quickly, didn't you?
I did. I got greedy.
Yeah.
I remember, like, I ended up moving the knight right back because, again, I got greedy and stupid, and
It's just not the time yet for it, right?
Yeah.
You're still in the opening. There's no need.
I knew as soon as I did it that I did it too soon.
Well, the way he responded was not actually appropriate. He should play knight d4. He's attacking your knight and he's shielding. Like, the one good thing about his position is that he does have a grip on the square, so he should be quick to install a knight there. I think also the big thing as well, you don't need to worry about winning this pawn. This pawn, literally, this is their least valuable pawn. This is like, what is something, this is like the most unpopular pawn on the board, right? It's blocking a rook, it's blocking the bishop, it's literally blocking everything. Like, not a piece on the board is going to vote to save this pawn.
Yeah.
All the pieces are cheering you on as you go to take this.
Yeah.
So just leave it on the board for now. Dig your knight in here. Dig your knight in, play queen b6. I mean, and I think another thing to keep in mind as well is that when you're playing against a weak pawn, that pawn is going to stay weak until it can move. So as long as you cover this square, as long as you keep a grip on this square, the pawn is going to stay weak.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they'll be able to bring more pieces to defend it, and it might be slightly harder to take. In which case, there would be an argument for what you're doing. But yeah, I think just keep the pawn. Remember the definitions of pawn, right? Weak pawns are just pawns that cannot move.
Mm-hmm.
And then, okay, I mean, I guess technically there's another element there, which is that they have to be targets, but they're targets that cannot move.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you keep your eye on the square in front of the pawn, that pawn is going to be frozen there. So knight g4, queen e2. I think now that you moved your knight here, just dig in. This wouldn't work if they play a good move here like knight d4, but it's by the fact that he's not playing this move the first time, he might not see this.
Yeah, I was just nervous about getting like a knight discovery with, Yeah.
Yeah,
But no, I see that. I should just commit.
yeah. No, but I mean, also the thing is that you just need to remember that you are strong and you're working on your tactics. You can't assume that you're just gonna play tactically badly, right? That's assuming that you're gonna make some sort of tactical mistake. In general, you should try to keep your pieces on better squares, but it shouldn't be the only focus. Just I might miss a tactic later. I'm gonna just make a move that's sort of counterproductive.
Yeah.
So knight f6, knight e5. You took. Do you see a better square for your knight, sir?
The treehouse.
Yeah.
Or the pseudo treehouse.
This technically isn't a treehouse, but it's
close enough.
It's a really good square. They could bring a knight here to kick it out, and you could just castle here.
That's a crazy pawn structure, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what this pawn structure is called. You see this a lot in Dutches and in Stonewalls because both sides are like capturing. Both sides have. Notice that both sides in this position had really strong squares for their knights back to back, which is what caused this. So that you see this position a lot. I would assume you're winning here, believe it or not, because your bishop is so much better than theirs, and these pawns are going to be so much weaker than yours. Let's see what happens. Ooh, is it going to go? All right, it's close. That's always a fun game to play, just clicking on the bar and seeing where it lands. Okay, so he just gave you the pawn. He played e4. Omarala, I have to congratulate you on this. This is a really good move. This is the first really good move he's played all game. e4 gets his bishop out, right? That was the most unpopular pawn on the board. Every piece on the board really hated that. Arguably, this is a much better position for him than if you had just kept the material the same and just not let this pawn move. Because all of his pieces are getting so much better now, right? Like, you have to think about how, like, there were so many, whenever there's a bad piece on the board, there are ripple effects. And what do I mean by that? I mean, if this bishop can't get out, then the knight doesn't really want to go here yet, right? And if the bishop can't get out, then how's this rook going to get out?
Yep.
There's just, like, first, second, and third order consequences of a bad piece. So knight d7, king h1, okay, you took, they took. You are up a pawn at the end of the day, like, you've let their pieces get out, but you definitely have the advantage here. c4, you took with a knight. Probably it's better to force the trade of queens. They can't pick your knight up because this rook would hang. That's a skewer, baby. So takes, knight c3. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You gotta defend that knight.
Yeah.
You have to keep the knight defended. You have to play queen d4.
I saw that after I lost the knight.
Yeah, this is tricky. Okay, now you're losing. Bishop d6, but you got... Aw. Yeah, this is... okay, so you're down a piece here. Not the end of the game, though. Okay, so you played h6. I would point out this moment. This is a critical moment. You were down a piece for 2 pawns, but this is an endgame. If you play the endgame well, you could easily bridge the gap. You're not playing Magnus Carlsen after all. So what could we do here? You want to include your king. Activate your king as quickly as possible.
So f8.
F8 would work, or you could just play F6 and go this way.
Mm-hmm.
Both would work. H6, you're dawdling. If you because think about it, right? Even if all the piece configuration stays the same, if your king comes over here to start targeting these pawns, you're going to be bridging the missing piece.
Yep.
More or less. So H6 takes bishop D4. Okay, that dropped a pawn. This is hard to defend though already. I think if you play B6, then they play knight A4, and they're going to get a pawn anyway. Yeah, this is tricky. This is risky business. So bishop D4 takes. Okay, takes is not good. Why did you take? You're too full of the vinegar?
I don't know.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to do that. What's going on with your clock, by the way? There must be some error here.
I was down on time. I was significantly down on time.
Yeah, this doesn't make any sense.
Oh, wait, no. The next game where things are completely off the wall is when I was significantly down on time. This game I don't remember. There was no significant like time crunch. That's not the reason that I made bad moves.
Yeah. Yeah, just whenever you're playing an endgame, do not simplify for them. If you're losing. Don't simplify if you're losing. Simplify if you're winning.
Yep.
You should play F5 here. Just bring your king in. I think you'd still have good chances of holding on here. Because, yeah, really anything can happen. Like, there's a good chance your opponent doesn't know to bring the king in. If he doesn't know to bring the king in, you might even be better here.
Mm-hmm.
Because the king is supposed to be worth 4 in terms of power.
Really?
Like, it's supposed to be stronger than a minor piece.
Hmm.
Yeah, because it can hit 8 squares, right? Like, that's asking a lot of a knight. A knight has to be in one of the good positions to hit 8 squares.
Makes sense.
Yeah, once you take here, this should be over. Okay, he brought his king in. He knew what to do. You checked. This is still technically somewhat okay, but you need to be very careful here. Do not push these pawns, right? Keep the apparatus nice. Once you push the pawns, like if you push this here, then already the king gets in, and now you're in zugzwang. As soon as your king moves, you're going to have to give up the pawn.
You'll see what happens. Exactly that.
Yeah, you pushed. Don't push next
Yeah.
time. Just, you understand if you don't push, their king can't get close. You can keep waiting around, just back and forth. Of course, you should be technically losing here. Being down a pawn for a piece is too much. But this would make it very hard for him.
But when he pushes on the right side, wouldn't this just, like, there's no way I could defend it without moving away?
Yeah, but the idea, though, is that you want to make him do that, though. Don't
right.
make it even easier for him to win.
Yeah, you're right.
And, like, the point is that I could see a situation, like, he could play b4 first, and then you play b5, and all of a sudden they can't move.
Yeah.
He's going to need to give up a pawn and let you get another one. He could still technically get your king to get distracted, but this is... I'm not sure players are going to do this.
Yeah.
This is it's risky business. No, of course there should be a million wins still for him, but this is...
Just don't give it to him for free.
Yeah. No, and always just try to make your opponent's life as complicated as possible.
Yep.
You need to be a real sadist. Okay, so check. Yeah, now, do you see the whole problem? As soon as your king has to move, you're going to let the king walk in.
Yep.
Your king is going to have to move sooner or later. You only have so many pawns on the board.
Yeah.
So here... Okay, he played... That's a mistake. He should just wait around and keep his bishop on this square. Yeah, his king gets in anyway, though. You're losing. Yeah. Okay. Alright, yeah. You resign here?
Yeah.
Don't resign.
I mean, this is like...
No, you gotta let... He might stalemate you.
Okay.
Trust me. Like, really, I've seen it happen.
Okay, I can do it.
I've seen it happen. Like, some people don't even know how to mate with king and queen out of 1,000.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Or I won't do it. This game, look at the number of mistakes and blunders. This one was a disaster. For some reason, I ended up way down on time, like super quick.
What flag is that? Nepal? Bhutan?
Bangladesh.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. This was like so much worse than all the other ones. Yeah. This one was particularly bad. I'm giving you a warning.
It's like every single move is 50-50 a blunder.
It was really bad.
I don't think I've ever seen numbers that low.
I don't know what happened with this game. I was really quite bad.
Alright, D5 is a good move, though. I think... Did we talk about that in another... I think we
Probably.
did. Dude, you're getting better.
Wait,
why are you playing B3? What is the point of that?
I just get so scared.
Put the knights on the golden squares. Stop worrying.
Yeah.
Just move the knights to the golden squares. It's really that simple. Like, I bet you moving the knights to the golden squares is the best move. Look at this. Okay, so that's where the bar is. Moving the knight on the golden square. Okay, apparently, maybe that's the wrong golden square. Let's try the other golden square. There we go.
There you go.
One of the knights, just move the knights to the golden squares. We'll worry about the rest later.
Wow, what's the number?
You should be completely winning here.
Wow, that's so high already.
He's playing a bad opening. If you play a bad opening, this is already a bad opening, and if you make a bad move, it makes it even worse. This is a pseudo Benoni opening, and the idea is you want your knights. You want one knight on this golden square, Where's that color? You want one knight on this golden square, and then you're going to move this knight from one golden square to another golden square.
Yep.
And you're going to get it now with the tempo because he put his queen here. No, don't worry about... You remember Richard from high school.
Yeah.
I played a game once where my opponent was doing this with one piece, and I ended up losing because I just got too afraid of it, and Richard just would not let me live it down. He just kept on making fun of me for being afraid of the one knight attack.
Yeah.
Like, don't be afraid of the one queen attack.
Yeah, you're right.
The queen is actually the strongest piece on the board, so of all the pieces, this is the one you would be worried about the most. But even so, don't be worried about a one piece attack.
You're right.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of things that I don't have explanations for in this game. It's so bad. I knew when I was playing, I'm like, what the... I almost cursed on the channel.
Yeah, don't curse.
No cursing.
Yeah, we'll get demonetized. Bishop f6. Yeah, why did you push this pawn? Look at this, your golden knight. You look at what you did to your golden knight. By the way, just a good rule of thumb as well, you don't need to prioritize the development of this bishop, right? Because you need to castle this way.
Yeah.
Get this bishop out. Yeah. Alright, so he hit you with the pin. I'm going to leave the evaluation bar up. I was thinking about that. I want to see all this. Oh, wow, this is crazy. Look at this. This is just going up and down. It's like a thermometer. No, so here you want to always just try to solve your problems while developing the most important things, right? You want to get your king this way.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think you don't want to castle queenside here?
Because the pawn structure is destroyed.
Yeah, and also just in general, their pieces are already sort of looking over there.
Yeah.
Even then, you would probably still be very close to winning, but the idea is we want to play the best moves. Just move your knight here to defend this.
Yep.
I guess the computer, I'm looking at this bar, I guess it wants you to just sack the exchange. The idea is that they've wasted so much time on this bishop, and this pawn is so weak here, you could already get snacking with knight e4, and you're winning. You're going to take here with check. Their king is going to have to go for a walk. They could take here, you take back. Look at this. This is a very classic idea, by the way. If they get this type of structure where you have a pawn on d5 and they have a pawn on d6, look to just crash through it. If you can crash through, it's worth an exchange.
Mm-hmm.
You remember an exchange is like giving up a rook for a bishop?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, this is fantastic for you. Alright, so queen f3, knight e7, a5. The queen is not really doing anything, though. There's no need to push it. Leave it there. This is, by the way, this is definitely something I see across all players, even at very high levels. If a piece is on a bad square, don't help them fix it. Just leave it there. Why would we know that this queen is on a bad square here?
It has like 5 whole squares it can move to, and none of them are relevant.
Yeah. In comparison, your queen is literally like, I don't know, probably like 10.
Yeah.
And even your queen isn't doing that well. But in general, yeah, they're all in bad directions. The only one in a decent direction is this one, but then it's getting even more stuck. If it ever comes to b4, you just bring your bishop back and shoot straight at it. Yeah, so don't push pieces that are already uncomfortable. Rook b1. Yeah, I'm not sure what this was about. You're getting into too tunnel vision. Remember, like, the basic things you want to do. Just castle, and then deal with all these more nuanced goals.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just reacting to the pin instead of thinking about what was going on.
Okay, so you played knight e4. Ah, okay, you wanted to do this trick. And he's missing it. He should be snacking on this pawn with a check. Bishop e5, you took. d6, oh, he took with check. c3, okay, so this is a big moment here, right? All you need to do is figure out a way to respond to this check with another threat. If you can do that, you're going to pick up the knight.
With another threat?
Yeah, right? You need 2 threats. This doesn't make a threat, so the knight would be able to move. You have 1 threat here. Is there any way you could deal with this check and make another threat?
I understand, because whatever I move, the queen could just take it. So how could you make a threat?
No, you could push this. Your rook is defending.
Okay, yeah,
Right?
right.
So they have to take this way.
Yeah, you're right.
But then you're only losing a pawn and you're getting a piece.
You're right.
You're snacking. Yeah. No, this is a common move that a lot of people miss.
Yeah.
Don't worry. But just in general, though, like, just look for these moves, because the thing is you probably just thought that the queen would take with check, but once you notice that your rook is defending, then of course they have to take with the pawn, and the check stop.
Yep.
Nice. So c3, knight g6. You are still completely winning here. Yeah, it seems like you got too tunnel vision about this attack. You need to just get developed. This bar is having like a spasm. It's having a stroke. Knight g5, knight f4, knight takes. Okay, you got the pin, but yeah, you got bamboozled by the shish kebab. Queen d1. All right, yeah, this is a disaster.
Yeah.
You see what happens when you put your queen on the golden square rather than the knight? Just put your knight on the golden square.
The golden square is for knights.
Dude, like, No, okay, honestly, like, your chess is really improving. I'm not trying to call you out on this at all. The golden square I emphasize for a really big reason. Like, it's such a simple rule, but it's so unbelievably good, and so many people just forget about it.
Yeah.
Just put your knights on the golden squares, and there's like a 90% chance you're making the best moves.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a simple rule, and, like, think about it. Okay, if back in this position, I know the bar dipped a little bit, but the idea is that the bars, they might not be the best moves, but the bar is never going to dip that much if you put the knights there. Like, look at that. If you put the knights on the golden squares, the bar is going to adjust a little. It's never going to be bad. And ultimately, like, these are the moves we want to be going for. We want to go for the moves that, like, are almost always good.
Mm-hmm.
Chess is like a very, like, what is that forest in Harry Potter, the Forbidden Forest? It's like very foggy.
Yeah.
It's very hard to figure out a good move when you see one, so it's good to just apply these, like the golden squares with the knight. That's like almost a universal rule.
Yeah, it's like a foundation you could look for like actual creative or good moves on top of, but it's always a safe bet.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, right? You're never going to be able to play a full game creatively, right?
Yeah.
Like the idea of originality and creativity, they're sort of convoluted ideas that don't really apply to reality. You can have a few bursts of creativity, but most of the things have to be just rote memorization or rote pattern recognition. All right, yeah. So at this position, yeah, I'm sad to say you were dead lost here. Like
it suddenly felt like so bad, and I look at the time. For whatever reason, I was so down on time.
Well, all of a sudden now things changed. For some reason, he chose to block his bishop scooping up the mango.
I did, yeah. He throws the whole game away, but then I run out of time.
He could have just checked. And
he plays that at this point on completely insane. As bad as I've been playing, you'll see. The whole thing's a mess.
He could literally just get snacking, and he's gonna take.
He has so many ways that I saw he could just take it, and you'll see. He makes crazy moves as well.
Like, even here, he could just play knight e1.
No, he loses his mind.
He's playing knight e1, and he's just gonna take.
I knew I was completely lost, and then I thought, like, damn, he played so bad if he just, like...
What is he doing?
I know. I know.
Dude, you're back to being... Look at the bar.
I know.
It's clean even.
I know. But look at the clock.
Okay, here you had a fork. You have 10 seconds.
A fork.
5, 4, 3.
Can I just take
2.
the pawn?
No, the knight.
Then, yeah. A fork.
When you're looking for forks...
Oh! No, that doesn't work.
When you're looking for forks, look for pieces that...
Oh, yeah, the rook and the king, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Elementary, my dear Watson.
Yeah, of course.
Rook d1. Okay, it's okay, though. If you're low on time, it's understandable. In this position, you have a passed pawn here. I guess you botched the rook. But just you want to get rid of these pieces that are in the way to push. So just play knight e5 next time.
Yeah.
Just dig it out, right? You're trading, and then your opponent's going to keep pushing. It would take a strong player here to know to keep blocking your pawn. I don't think he would find this. Given the way he's been playing, I would put serious money, honestly, that he's not going to find
He wasn't
this.
playing, like, insanely bad until he got me at that point, and then suddenly he lost his mind.
Yeah.
I don't know why, considering he was winning.
He was just trying to flag you. Yeah, he was in tunnel vision. All right, here... Yeah, now all of a sudden you're completely winning. Just in general, again, remember that rule I told you, right? If you have 10 points, you should have mating chances. If you have anything more than 9, how many points do you have here? You have 1, 5, that's 6, plus 4.
Yeah.
You count the king as 4. You have 10. King e6 and you're winning.
Yep.
You're going to mate him.
I know how to do that also, yeah.
King d8, d7, it's unstoppable. I understand, though, if you're low on time here, this is really hard.
Yeah,
to see.
17 seconds.
Check, takes... What is going on with... Why doesn't he just take the pawn?
I don't know. I don't know.
What is happening? Yeah, so in this position, this should be even. The bar is going to go back up to more or less even. You check, takes. You have a passed pawn here. He's up a pawn, so of course the advantage is slightly with him, but this should be a draw.
Yeah, I ran out of time, but I knew that it was not that bad. This was so crazy.
Yeah. How did you let the time... This is another thing with the playing too creatively, right? If you play too creatively and you don't just stick to your guns and stick to, like, the foundational principles, you're going to end up burning so much time so that, you know, when simple opportunities do present themselves, you're not going to be able to notice them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, that's okay, though. Don't worry. I'm thinking, in general, your play is very good, though. Like, everyone at home is commenting. I see y'all comments saying, oh, I'm not sure Kevin's going to be able to make 2200. He's making it to 2200.
We're making it.
We're on the road up. We made 5 points this week.
Is up.
That means only in, what, 300 weeks?
Just in 300 more weeks. Just 6 years.
Okay, yeah, wait. Let's talk about your openings though. So, do you like in general what types of positions do you think you like? Do you like crazy chess?
I don't like crazy chess.
Like when you were watching a GRANDMASTER's channel, which player did you really love?
I did like the defensive players. I've mentioned
You like Petrosian?
Petrosian's probably my favorite.
Nice.
The original. There's like
yeah.
5 of them.
You know what? The other Petrosian cost me a GM norm.
Really?
Did you know this? Yeah, I was playing in Armenia, and all I needed to do was beat him, and I was gonna get my last GM norm. I was gonna get the GM title. I had a good position, and I just got too full of the vinegar. I got too excited. I started thinking like, oh, I'm gonna have a GM next to my name, like that title, that crisp golden title.
You got too excited.
Yeah. Another funny thing about that tournament was do you know who Gukesh is?
I recognize the
He's
name.
super famous. Like he's playing in the candidates now.
Yeah, I do recognize the name. I don't know much about him though.
I didn't know who he was because I just don't follow. I wasn't following modern chess. Like now I'm following it a bit more because I'm producing chess content. And I saw him in the hallway of my hotel, and I thought he was just some scrub. Like this guy's probably like 1800. And then I see him on the top board, and I'm like, what's going on there? And then I see that he's like a 2650 16-year-old. Yeah. Anyway, so that's a funny fact.
It's like a fun tournament.
Anyway, though, if you tell me you like Petrosian, we're going to structure your repertoire around that. I think you should be playing d4. Queen pawn positions. The thing is that like when you're starting out in like chess YouTube and you're just trying to get educational content, no one is going to tell you to play d4 because everyone starts out with e4. But the fundamental fact is that if you like those types of solid strategic positions, what I taught you last week with the gambit, that might be fun once in a while, but that type of chess in general is not something you're going to enjoy. Okay, so going forward, yeah, for d4, I will talk with Chessable about this. I have a fantastic repertoire to recommend you on Chessable that you could do. It's relatively simple. For those of you who are wondering, it's going to be Sam Shanklin's d4 repertoire. For the moment, Kevin is only 1,000. He doesn't need to learn, like, I think in total, the repertoire compiles 1,000 variations, but there's a starter version that's only like 30 or something.
Yeah.
So you're gonna do that one. But yeah, I think d4 is a very nice approach. As black, yeah, and also in general, d4 was my specialty. I like e4 more. It's very strange. I like e4 more. It's more fun. But I made GM. I pretty much made all of my gains playing d4. So I will be able to really mentor you through this, especially in your games. Okay, for black. So for black, it's interesting, right? The French would not be a bad system for someone playing against. How do I flip the board? Okay, here we go. Against e4, the French is not in itself a bad system, but it's just a little. The positions are very dry, though. Like, do you think you like these positions?
I don't dislike them. But
do you love them though?
No, I don't love them.
All right. What about this type of position? Here's the Caro-Kann. It's similarly solid, but there's a lot more of an imbalance here because if they take here, you take back this way.
I'm into this.
Nice.
I just like solid. I don't like what you just said. I don't like crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But this looks perfectly solid and like reasonable.
Nice. Yeah. Especially for those of you who are watching at this point now, I really commend you guys because I think we're like an hour and a half in, or something like that, some insane amount in. So for those of you who are like the 15% watching, you're gonna really appreciate this nugget of information. It's important to structure your openings according to your personality. It's like you know that scene in Harry Potter where he's figuring out the wands?
Yeah.
If you play the wrong opening, that's going to be so detrimental both to the way you play chess and to your results and to just how much you're enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
You want the game to be enjoyable. So, yeah. So C6. For this, we have a book laying around here somewhere that you're going to be able to study from.
In English?
Yeah, playing the Caro-Kann. It is written for higher level players, so I'll just cut out specific portions for you to read. But yeah, it's Playing the Caro-Kann, a Grandmaster's Guide by Lars Standorf. If y'all are wondering at home, I really like that book. It's the one that Anna Kramling caught me reading. Really, really nice one. One of the things I really love about this is a really, really cool thing. This is the main line here. You take, and now you play this. And then they take, and you take here, and your king is unbelievably solid.
Yep.
It's a very strange position, though. You're more or less playing down a pawn on the side of the board, but this is completely sound. Your pawns are very, very healthy here.
You have the Tetris piece.
Yeah. Or almost, and you're going to get the cube.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do have the Tetris piece.
Yeah. No, this is the position you got in the on stream.
And that guy didn't give me the cube.
Yeah, the Korean man. The rude Korean man.
Okay, so that's for e4. So, okay, technically d4, I'm thinking, because on the one hand, the drib is very dynamic. I don't think you're going to like the drib, so, as much as I would have loved to recommend you the drib, we need to treat your personality first.
The Caro-Kann looks more my style
Yeah.
compared to the Drib, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Caro-Kann is against E4, so you could play both.
Yeah.
But, alright, I'm thinking there are a lot of interesting systems. You could play... Okay, so there are a lot of different systems here. This is the Nimzo Indian. The whole idea here, there's a very interesting dynamic going on in opening play, which is that if you want a full stake in the center, there's going to be a lot more confrontation, but the idea is assuming your opponent relents, it's a very easy position. But if they know what they're doing and they don't relent, then you have to struggle for a lot more. Or you can just completely cede them the center, as these are called Indian defenses, where you move your knight out first. Notice you're fighting for more or less the same squares as if you push your pawn.
Yep.
It's actually very interesting, right? The mirror image does not work because their queen is going to be able to defend this square. So if we look at this, of course, they can't play e4 here because their king would be defending it. So here, I thought about what you're going to play. This is going to be really, really fun. So this is the Nimzo. You're not playing this. You're going to be playing what's called Benko.
Okay, never heard of it.
Do you know what the Benko is? The Benko is one of the coolest openings I've ever heard of. It's the only positional gambit.
I like where we're going.
Yeah, like most gambits are, just I'm gonna sack a pawn and I'm just gonna try to checkmate you. This is just a gambit where you're just getting positional compensation. The idea is, you play this, so you got a very similar position in the other one. You're gonna play b5, and then you're gonna sack the pawn. And the idea is takes, and you have an extremely healthy structure here.
Yeah.
You're gonna put your rooks on b8 and a8. It's very strategic, thematic. Your king is super safe.
Yeah. I'm down to learn this. This looks interesting.
It's very interesting.
That bishop looks deadly also. Like, that's very annoying for them. It's just like cutting straight in.
Yeah. No, you're going to get two fantastic bishops. The other bishop is going to look this way. Notice that they don't have any pawn to block this bishop either.
Yeah.
This is going to be such a fun thing for you. I'm honestly excited for you. I might start playing the Benko myself. I might get jealous.
It looks fun.
It's super fun. It's super fun. At Grandmaster level, it's a tiny bit dubious. That's why you don't see it played much. But I'm even thinking about, 3 years ago, I was playing a GM Norm tournament, I was playing an IM, and he played this against me, and I was only able to draw. It's very tricky stuff.
I think, any kind of gambit where you're giving up a pawn for some positional thing at lower levels must be, fantastic, because it's so hard to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
I bet it's, all these things are so much better at my level than your level.
Yeah. No, but this hits a lot of factors. First of all, very few people are going to have ever seen this before.
Yeah.
It's also, you're going to see what I mean. There are positions where you get even rook ending here, and you're down a pawn, but you're better.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? They're positions where they push their pawn to a3, you get your rooks into these blue squares here. None of their pieces can move anything, and you're better.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. This is the one positional gambit in chess as far as I can tell. Every other gambit is focused on dynamics. This is focused on just the fact that for one pawn, you have a much healthier structure. You're going to have two fantastic bishops. You're going to have a weak pawn on b2 to target, and this is so good. This is going to be so good for you. So for this, I'm thinking about what I could recommend you. There's a course I did on Chessable on this, but I didn't particularly like it. It was by Swapnil Dohad, who's this Indian Grandmaster. He put a lot of work into it, but the positions aren't that user-friendly. I'm going to try to find something more user-friendly for you, but suffice to say, we'll figure it out. So yeah, for going forward, this is going to be exciting. So, okay, you do have to do a lot of work, though, this week. You're going to have to do all of these starter courses, so you're probably going to need to do 90 variations in total. Or something.
This is on Chessable?
Or maybe not, no, sorry, not 90 variations. I'm thinking about it. You'll have to do maybe 50 variations on Chessable, yeah. All with free courses, though.
But you mean, we mean do variations? You have to memorize 50 variations?
You're going to see Chessable, you pretty much, they show you the variations, they teach you them, and then you have to practice them.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good system. I'm a big Chessable fan, as you guys know. Yeah, this is going to be good. I think this is going to be very good. Honestly, I don't know this system that well. Being at Grandmaster level, I know every system a tiny bit. I don't know this at all, but D4 and the Caro-Kann I know extremely well.
Yeah.
So
both of those look appealing to me.
Yeah, I think you're going to have a lot of fun. And, this is going to be good. So, with that being said, your rating hasn't gone up that much, but I'm very optimistic. I'm seeing a lot of great strategic moves that Kevin is making. Kevin is making a lot of mistakes, but at the same time, every now and then he makes a GM level move, which is a great sign. He's, there's sparks of brilliance in his play.
We'll get there. We're getting there. Haters? We're getting there.
Yeah, we gotta call out that guy. We gotta get his username next time.
Next time you
was so
comment,
certain.
we're coming for you.
He was so certain you're not making it.
I could make it to 1800, but not 2200.
Yeah. Well, he's not living with the GM. So.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we're on you.
Yeah.